Have you ever walked home alone at night and felt that prickly sensation on the back of your neck, like you're being watched? You tell yourself it's just the wind, just your imagination running wild. But what if it's not? What if this time, when you turn around, someone is actually there? This is what happened to Kenji, a 17-year-old high school student, on a cold, damp autumn night in Tokyo. The city, usually a vibrant explosion of light and sound, was eerily quiet. The streets were nearly empty, slick with a recent rain that made the street lamps cast long, distorted reflections on the wet pavement. The only sounds were the faint, electric hum of the lights and the soft shuffle of his own footsteps. Kenji was heading home from his cram school, a place he spent more time at than his own house. His backpack, stuffed with textbooks and notes, felt heavy, but it was nothing compared to the oppressive silence that seemed to press in on him from all sides. He pulled his jacket tighter, the cold seeping into his bones. He just wanted to get home, crawl into bed, and forget the pressures of his upcoming exams. He quickened his pace, his shoes splashing through small puddles, the sound echoing strangely in the deserted alleyways. That's when he first heard it. A sound that didn't belong. It was faint, almost imperceptible, a soft, wet, dragging noise. Scrape, slide, scrape, slide. It seemed to be coming from somewhere behind him. Kenji stopped, straining his ears. The sound stopped too. He held his breath. Nothing. Just the hum of the city sleeping. He shook his head, telling himself it was just a plastic bag caught in the wind, or a stray cat rummaging through trash. He was tired. His mind was playing tricks on him. He started walking again, a little faster this time, and there it was again, scrape, slide. This time it was closer, more distinct. It sounded heavy, like something being dragged laboriously across the concrete. A chill, colder than the autumn air, snaked its way up his spine. His heart began to hammer against his ribs. He didn't dare look back. Every horror movie he'd ever seen screamed at him, "Don't look back, keep walking, get to a main street." He rounded a corner, his breath catching in his throat. The alley he'd just turned into was a dead end. A brick wall loomed in front of him, graffiti sprawling across its surface like a dark prophecy. Panic flared in his chest. He was trapped. He slowly turned, his body rigid with fear. The dragging sound had stopped. The alley behind him was empty. A wave of relief washed over him, so potent it made him feel weak. He leaned against the cold brick wall, laughing nervously at his own foolishness. It was nothing. It was all in his head. But then, he saw it. At the entrance of the alley, half hidden in the shadows cast by the street lamp, was a figure. It was tall and unnaturally thin, hunched over as if in pain. It wore what looked like a tattered raincoat, the hood pulled so low that its face was completely obscured. Kenji's blood ran cold. The figure was perfectly still, a silent sentinel guarding the only way out. Kenji couldn't move, couldn't breathe. His mind was screaming, but no sound came out. The figure slowly, deliberately, lifted its head. Kenji couldn't see any eyes, just two dark, empty voids where they should have been. And then it smiled, a wide, impossibly wide grin that stretched its face into a grotesque crescent, revealing rows of teeth that were too long, too sharp, too numerous. A low gurgling sound emanated from its throat, a sound of amusement. Then, it took a step. Not a normal step. It dragged one leg behind it, the source of the scraping sound he'd been hearing all along. Scrape. Slide. It was coming for him. Kenji was frozen, pinned by a terror so pure, so absolute, that it felt like his heart had stopped. The figure raised a long, spindly arm, pointing a single bony finger directly at him. The gurgling sound grew louder, morphing into a wet, raspy whisper that seemed to slither through the air and coil around Kenji's ears. "Found you," it hissed. And in that moment, Kenji knew that the silence he'd feared earlier was a blessing, and the sound he was hearing now was the end of everything. Thank you so much for joining me for this story. If you enjoyed this journey into the dark, please hit that like button and subscribe for more tales from the shadows. Stay safe out there, and remember to check behind you.